Hello, Aquatic Science. Today we are going to dissect a frog. Cute little frog. Just not cute now that it's dead. Okay. So you need to wear goggles or have glasses on, gloves, more than likely an apron because this one is messy and juicy and will get everywhere. So
we're not wearing aprons because we're tough.
Yeah. So get your utensils. You're gonna have it on a nice little plate, and you're gonna need this paper. So it's gonna help you out.
Oh, we also need to talk loudly.
Yes.
That's what. Okay, so with your frogs, whenever you get your frog, okay, you're gonna notice that they're a little stiff. That's what happens to you when you die, and they've been preserved. So the first thing you're going to do as you read your sheet, you're going to determine if your frog is a male or a female. So you're going to do that, you're going to look at its thumbs. So if you look at its little hands, you're going to look at the frog thumbs, and you're going to see if they have a thumb pad. Okay, so the males are going to, if it has a thumb pad, it's going to be a male. Okay, and do you want to zoom in on that? You see a thumb pad, or do you want to get closer?
I just zoomed in right now.
Oh, okay. So,
oh, wait, focus. Recommend. Okay, it's focused.
Right there.
Yeah.
And an easy way to tell if it's a male or a female using the thumb pads.
if it has thumb pads, it could be a dad.
So
Some people pay extra for this stuff.
yes,
Be excited.
hopefully you know that now. Thumb pads, dad.
And then we're going to look at the external features of the frog first. So we're going to start on the head end.
Okay, so a couple of things that you want to look at on the head is you have a mouth, so hello. You have these external nares, which are pretty much nostrils. Nares are nostrils, so you have these two little holes right up on its nose that are called nares. You have its eye, and over the eye is something called the nictitating membrane, and it's this little membrane that, I mean, you can kind of like pull down, and think of them as swim goggles. So when it's swimming, it puts this little membrane over its eyes, and you know, it can swim in the water and not get irritated by the water in its eyes. Then you also have this little, it's like a discolored part of their skin. This is called the tympanum. It's pretty much their eardrum. So we have this, something very similar to ours, but ours is, you know, in our ears. They don't have like an external ear, like earlobe and all that stuff. They just have this little membrane right here, and it's their ears.
Okay, then what you're going to do is you are going to turn the frog on its back to make this process a little easier. And when you turn it on its back, then you're going to open its mouth. I'm going to try to do this upright so that you guys can see. So you're going to kind of pry open its mouth, and then you're going to use your scissors to cut. You're sort of making the frog have like a Joker smile. So you can cut almost like to his shoulders. Okay, never mind. I was trying to make it so that y'all could see it, but just kidding. Okay, so you're trying to make your frog be able to open his mouth really wide. Ah.
He had something on his tongue.
And he had eaten a bug before he died, so at least he died full. And you're gonna see several different things. You're gonna see the tongue. Okay, so this is his tongue. And one thing that you're gonna notice about his tongue is that it's attached to the front of his mouth. So, here, look at me. So with your tongue, you go, ah, and your tongue is attached at the back of your mouth. His is attached at the front, because what he's gonna do is he's gonna take that tongue and his eating habits, he flips that tongue.
Sorry.
Oops. He flips that tongue out and sticks it to stuff. I just got juice on the, the videographer. Whoops. Hashtag aquatic science hazards. So he flips that tongue out and he sticks it to whatever he's eating. So that's why it's attached in the front.
And then when he like pulls it back and stuff, he's kind of like throwing the food like into the back of its mouth. So it's throwing its tongue forward, sticking things, and then kind of, so it doesn't shoot out their tongue, it more of throws the back of their tongue out. So that's kind of weird.
And then other stuff that you can see looking inside the frog's mouth, you can see...
Take out the tongue.
Oh, okay. You can take out your tongue so that you have more space. Okay, so if you look in the frog's mouth, you're going to see his internal nares. So this is where the where his external nares open up. And so if you were to stick your probe in that hole, you'll see that your probe will come out it'll come out through his nare. Okay, his nare is too small for the probe to come out. Just kidding. And then you'll also see these things called vomeron teeth or vomeron teeth. Okay, these are they kind of help him grasp the food and keep it still. So if you're you know, scarfing down a cricket like he was doing before he died, these kind of help to keep the cricket still. And then he's got maxillary teeth. So if you rub your probe along the inside, this little ridge along the inside of his mouth, you'll feel little bumps. They're real fine. Those are his maxillary teeth. And then you can also see his eustachian tubes. So there's one. So it's this hole, you're gonna find holes in kind of his throat area. And if you stick your probe through the hole, you can see that it pushes on the tympanum, okay, or the tympanum. So that is his eustachian tube. So you can tell if you're putting the probe in the eustachian tube if you can poke it and then see the little protrusion or pokey part on the tympanum. And then the last thing you need to find in his mouth is down here at the back, and it is this structure. Okay, this is called the glottis. This is basically his throat. And you can tell if you found it because it's going to look kind of muscular, and then if you poke it with the probe, you can see that it splits open. So that is his glottis. That's where, so whenever he flings that cricket or the grasshopper or whatever back, he's gonna shove it down his glottis, and that's gonna lead to his stomach.
Okay, so now, you know, we're gonna get to the juicy part of this. We're going to cut it. And so how we're gonna cut it, you're gonna kind of start right here in the center, like in its crotch region.
Called the cloaca, if you wanna be super fancy.
Cloaca. And we're just going to cut straight up to about its throat area right here. And then you're gonna kind of make an eye of it. So cutting across right there, cutting across right there, and then you're gonna lay it open, so.
It's gonna look like a book when you're done.
Okay, so if you cut through just the skin, you'll kind of see, you know, the muscles of it. And so I skinned this one. You can see he has, you know, like a little 8-pack going on. So this was a buff little frog before we murdered him.
He hits the gym.
Yeah. So after that, you gotta cut further into it. So you actually have to cut through the muscle. I just wanted to show you his 8-pack.
And a lot of people, if you stop there, don't raise your hand and tell us the frog doesn't have any organs. You just haven't cut far enough.
What was that one in the middle?
It's a vein.
Yeah. We have it, just don't see it. So when you get to about right here, you know, you have his like clavicles, and so it's gonna make a really sick noise, but you have to cut through it. Actually, that one wasn't that bad. Remember last year it was like, yeah. So this is what it will look like once you cut it open. The first thing you'll notice is right here, it has these, the liver, and so it has 3 lobes of it. So And it has like a greenish color. Some people's has like a tan color like this. But the giant organ, and you'll see this with all of our dissections, the biggest organ is usually the liver. So 3 lobes, greenish color liver. And then right above the liver, right here, is its little heart. And so you know, so passes, you know, sends blood throughout the body.
Kind of to the sides, you'll be able to see the fat bodies. They look, and you're never going to look at this the same way again, and sorry about that. They look like ramen. They're usually kind of yellowish. This one is kind of pinkish because I guess, you know, body fluids. But yeah, so they're kind of yellowish, and these are fat bodies. This is how it stores energy. So, you know, you have layers of fat, you know, you may be like, oh, it's in my belly, or it's in my hips, or it's in my butt, or whatever. These guys hold it in their abdomen. And so yeah, so whenever they hibernate for the winter or, you know, do anything, they're gonna store up fat in these things. So these can get bigger or smaller depending on if the frog is eating or not.
Yeah, so during like late fall, early winter, these are like really, really large because it's been, you know, eating a lot. During, you know, late winter, early spring, when it's starting to come out of hibernation, these things are going to be very, very small because it's used up all of that energy while it was hibernating. So, but it looks like ramen. Hopefully none of y'all are eating ramen as you watch this, but, you know, the ramen looking stuff is fat bodies.
You're welcome. And then if you, do you want to cut the liver out?
Yeah.
So if you want to cut, once you get past the first couple organs like the liver and the heart, you can cut the liver out, and that might make your life a little easier because it is a giant organ and kind of gets in the way. That cool skinning trick that he did with the abdomen, like to show you his 8-pack, you can also do with the frog's legs. You can cut the skin off of the legs and see his massively muscular legs. The frog does not skip leg day.
I'm trying not to cut open its stomach right now.
Oh, and you can also see when you're cutting the liver out, if you watch carefully, you can find a little sac. That's its gallbladder, so that puts digestive enzymes into its intestine. You have one of these too.
Yeah. The gallbladder, it's usually a green color, sometimes it's black, but it's right under the liver. And there's like a little tiny tube that like travels to the stomach with it, but you can find it right under the liver. When you take the liver out, you're pretty much taking this out with it, so, but there it is.
And the next thing you're going to see as you cut down is going to be the stomach. The stomach is a big muscular tube, okay? It's usually kind of J-shaped, so if you look at it at just the right angle, it's J-shaped. You'll also see this stuff, this kind of webby stuff that Mr. Morrow's probe is in. That's called the mesentery. That kind of, you have one of those too. It holds all the organs in place, keeps them all, and you'll see it looks kind of like a web holding the intestines and stomach to each other. If you get to the stomach part and you're looking at it and it feels big, you can actually cut it open and see the inside of it. Sometimes they have bugs in there. We've even found a mouse, like a baby mouse. So you can cut your stomach out, and even if you don't have anything in it, you can cut it out, and you can cut it lengthways, and you'll be able to see the structures inside the stomach.
Actually found a baby mouse
Mm-hmm.
in one of these stomachs.
Yeah.
What did it look like?
Just baby mouse.
A baby mouse that was all kind of not happy about life. So once you cut your stomach out, if you look inside of it, you'll see a bunch of folds. Okay, the inside of the stomach is really folded and really rough. These are called rugae, and your stomach has these. They're folds that kind of increase surface area, make you able to absorb more stuff into your bloodstream.
It's kind of like the gills and how we talked about the lungs and stuff. More surface area means, you know, you can do more things with it. So with gills, more surface area, you can, you know, absorb more oxygen. With the stomach, more surface area, absorb more, you know, nutrients. Going from the stomach, so I cut the stomach out, right here. This is the small intestine, so, it's small, super windy, and it leads to right here. This is the large intestine. I would advise against cutting this open because it's poop. That's why it's a dark, blackish color. If you do cut it open, it's going to smell, and don't complain to me because you cut the poop open, so that's your fault. And then it leads, to the
Cloaca.
Yeah, cloaca. So you see more of the ramen, so more of the little fat bodies over here.
So then, once you get the frog all taken apart, you can see its lungs, which are on the back side of its body. They look kind of, I don't know, like red raisins or something, dried cranberries, I don't know.
Grapes. Squished grapes.
Squished grapes?
That's what we're going to call them.
There
Squished
we go.
grapes.
That's perfect.
So, yeah, they sort of look gross. And if you, you can kind of like poke at them and stuff, they're real squishy. That's because they contain a lot of air sacs to help the frog breathe. Are you going to try to do it?
Yeah.
Gross.
So you gonna try and inflate them? You are. What the heck?
See, I've never figured out how this works. Like, is it through? Do they inhale through their pharynx or through their glottis? Like that doesn't.
We're going to find out though.
No.
They inflated.
Ew! So that is their lungs. Oh my god.
I'm so happy
Oh
right
my
now.
gosh.
I didn't think that was gonna work. What the
Ah!
What?
What? So, turns out you can inflate their lungs.
So using just, if you want to back up.
A dropper.
Yeah. So using a little dropper, we'll get a couple of droppers for y'all, and so if y'all want, come up, grab the droppers from us. But you're sticking it, like if you come over here, you're going back to that glottis. Be very careful because these are glass. Stick this into the glottis, make it nice and snug, and hopefully if you haven't cut anything, like cut the lungs or anything, you can kind of pump up the lungs.
That is so wild.
I don't know why only one is doing it when the other one was doing it earlier.
The other one probably has like a hole or something.
Oh,
Never mind.
So back here, you have the backbone. If you look right over here, you see this little, I don't know, string, I guess. That is the sperm duct. And so right up here, this little, keep shifting it. If you follow it all the way up, you see the testes, and so it has two sets of these. Here's the other one over here. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, those are the sperm ducts, and that's pretty much it.
Once you're done, throw everything away.
Wash these.
Wash them.
If you throw these away, I will stab you with them without cleaning them. Okay?
Don't throw them away.
Don't throw them away, or I'll stab you.
But yeah,
yeah.
hopefully you enjoyed it. I mean, I know that everybody's done this at least once in their lives, it seems, but now you're older and wiser, and
Yeah.
you have us, and we're awesome teachers.
And it's a little bit cool. I mean, like she said, y'all have all dissected a frog before, hopefully not to like this level, and you're learning some new stuff about it. But it's a fun dissection. It's gross and juicy and everything. But hopefully you had fun. Clean your stuff, clean everything, throw it away. Or, well, don't throw these away. Throw the frog away. And then wipe down your table really well.
That's all we got.
Yeah.
Until the next one.
Yeah, have fun.